Honestly, that's a large component of the reason why I'm just, waiting for kids until I'm older is because I'm still learning life. What's up, my brother?
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I've been better. Are you coming to talk in about the last conversation or ask me
No,
questions about Kevin?
no.
What's
Um,
up?
Give me about 3 minutes, and then I'll be out. I don't have a lot to say,
If, if,
but
if you can do it in 1 minute, my brother, no disrespect.
no problem, no problem. So, my father, his body passed away about 2.5 years ago, and he and I are very close, very, very close. Yet and still, when his body died, there was no grieving for me. My other brothers and sisters, they grieved and told stories and reminisced. But the reason why I didn't grieve and I don't grieve and I haven't grieved and I'm not going to grieve is because I believe in God, and I am fully aware that we are not our bodies. And what I love about my father and what I respect about my father is A, what he did, and B, who he is. And what he is his spirit. What he is his soul, and his soul is alive and well. The only reason to grieve for somebody whose body has died, and really that's what it is, that's what I call it, it's the body that dies, is if they lived a wicked life. And if they live the wicked life, then there's a good chance that you won't see them again. But if they lived the righteous life and they were here, at least from what you can observe, doing the work of God, and that's the work that you're here to do, then we're all trying to get to the same place. And if we're all trying to get to the same place, then I have a very high hope that I'll be seeing my father again, because he was a great father, and I'm trying to live a righteous life, and so I'll be going to see my father again. And so within that context, I haven't shed a tear. I mean, the only time I cry is when I think of how hard he worked. Life, because if you live your life right, life is going to be hard, because you're always going to be pushing up against the belly of the dragon. You're always going to be fighting the demons. That's what it means to live a righteous life, because we're living in diabolical times. If you're going to be righteous in diabolical times, you're going to be fighting a lot. And so my dad fought a lot, and he sacrificed a lot for me and for my brothers and sisters. So even when he was alive and I thought about that would bring me to tears. But I never, I feel joy when I think of my dad, and I pray for him every day. I feel gratitude that he was here, and gratitude that God gave me a father like that. So for me to focus on any negative feelings, like sadness because he was here, is really an expression of ungratitude, because it's like, God gave me a father when he didn't give most men fathers, and he gave me a great father when he could have given many men, terrible fathers. And so it's like God gives you a toy, and then God takes the toy away, and then you cry and complain. So it's like, in my context, it's like, I was blessed to have that man, and so his body's not here, and you know what? Good for him, because as you know, this life is no picnic. It's a lot of fighting, it's a lot of struggle, and whenever God comes for me, I'm happy to go. Like, I got 3 kids, and I talked to them. I was like, listen, don't cry for me, babies. Your daddy's glad to go and be with his maker. Glad to be out of the struggle, glad to be out of the race, glad to be out of all this. While I'm here, I'm grateful. I'll do whatever God has sent me to do. But when it's time for me to go, hey, I'm I'm out. Deuces, I'm out. And that's what my dad is, and that's my goal. My goal is to accomplish what my dad has accomplished, which is to live a great life, raise some good children, and then be at peace with my maker. And if that's what my father is, like, who am I to be sorry for him? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so insofar as Kevin is concerned, I mean, he was making plans for the future, but, he did what God put him here to do. And, good for him. And if we can, us that remain, can finish our life that way, then peace and blessings, peace and blessings. And I just wanted to share that with you, because I can feel that you're kind of going through a hard emotional time. But really, you know, thank God that you met this man. And you know, and the other thing is this, is that, you know, what hit me is that my father, because my father is his spirit, as long as I respect, you know, as long as I respect the reason why he sacrificed, you know, he sacrificed, and he gave his life literally for me. And as long as I respect that life, then there is no death, you know, because this is how men live. We live through our progeny. This is why we want to create life, is we live through passing on our life and our experiences to our progeny. And so my father was successful in doing that through me because I honor it. Now, if I don't honor it, then his work becomes useless, and his
Right.
life becomes useless, and his sacrifice therefore becomes useless. But whatever he gave to me, I use every day, and I pass on to my children. And so he lives in more ways than one. So, like, logically, spiritually, there's just no space for mourning, you know?
I wholeheartedly appreciate this perspective. As I mentioned on the channel, I don't have much experience with this, but to me, brother, it sounds as though you are very experienced within this, and you know, I know that you you know, leverage your father within this, and thank you, thank you.
No
I
problem.
haven't quite heard it put like that before, and I'm trying to still wrap my mind around it, but it makes so much sense. But thank you, because I have not heard a perspective like that before.
Well, brother, look, I didn't hear it until it hit me. You know, I've not really experienced, you know, my father dying was really the first time somebody that really was close to me died. I've had people, you know, but my father was my father. And when I got word that he died, my brother called me, told me to sit down. I sat down, he told me. And for about 3 hours, I was very confused. I didn't really know what to do. And then I'm Muslim, so I got down to pray. It was time to pray, and so I prayed. And as I was praying for my father, I simply, you know, I pray for him every day, 5 times a day. And so whenever I prayed for him, I started to pray for him this time. And as I was praying for him, I realized that most of the things that I prayed for him, I didn't have to pray for anymore. I prayed for his happiness. I prayed for his physical health. I prayed for him to be content. And it's like, I just kept praying. I said, oh, wait a second. I don't have to pray for that. I don't have to pray for that. And in the middle of my prayer, I'm just smiling. It's like, wow, I just felt, because I didn't have to worry about him. Like, that was just it. It's like the only thing that I had to do was just to be left with the joy of the life that he had, and what my father gave me. So that was all, and that's literally all that's left. Like, that's what's left. It's just joy. It's just like, wow, I have an incredible father, and he lives through me. Like, even I'm starting to look like him. You know, it's weird. And I never thought that you know, but it's happening. It's like, I'm so blessed. Like, how can I be sad just because God took away the thing that he gave me? It's like, I always knew he was going to die. I always knew his body was no longer. So it's not like it's a surprise.
Right.
And the only thing that I have left with is the goodness that God has given me. So it's like, you know, God lend me somebody lends you $100 and say, listen, I'm going to come back for this. And they come back for it. And then you be like, man, why'd you take my $100? That's mine. Like, no. Like, God lent him to me for a while, and God took him back. And I had him for a long time, like, you know, 20, 30, 40 years. So I'm going to complain now? Like
Right.
how is that fair to God?
Right.
You know?
Listen, I didn't know how much I needed this conversation. And I know I was trying to keep you to a minute, but you started to go. Just thank you, brother.
Yeah, God bless you, man.
You know,
No more
I'm
time
not
for
gonna
hood
lie.
boogers,
Like,
man. Leave them alone.
wait, say it again.
So no, don't give any more time for hood boogers. Like, let's focus your energy on putting out what Kevin gave you. You know, especially today.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly appreciate that, brother, because, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Today, you know, Kev in my mind was Uncle Kev. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my mind, you know what I'm saying? I never said him. Now I was be like, hey, Kevin. You know what I mean? And I call him his full name because honestly, he said it. He said he didn't like people calling him Kev. So I call him Kevin, but in my mind, he's like Uncle Kev. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's got like 16 years on me, and You know what I'm saying? I'd be lying if I tell you that throughout this day I hadn't considered my father as well. And my father has heart disease. And to hear what you said and to know that, my father has heart disease and he's still with me, and the gratefulness that I have that I can just call him right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And, with your words just mean so much to me, brother. So thank you. I wholeheartedly appreciate that.
Yeah, God bless you, man.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much for calling in, bro.
All right, check you out.
All right. Whoo! Shout out to that brother right there. I think he said he had kids. Those kids are in great hands. Those kids are in great hands. Great hands. Those are going to be the next leaders of our future right there. Those are going to be the next presidents, the next CEOs. Them kids are going to be, you know what I'm saying? Something we can look at and be like, dang, they doing a damn thing. Notice the difference in the first clip versus that clip. Notice the first interaction versus that interaction. Notice the difference of the tone. Notice the difference of the love. Notice the difference of the serenity. Notice the difference of the teaching. Just notice the difference. It's so far different. It's so far different. It's so far different. Shout out to that brother right there. My heart is calm right now. What I felt earlier, you know what I'm saying? Because, women don't, maybe women do understand this is why they leverage it so much, but women's words have a way of cutting. But let me add on to that. A solid brother's words has a way of building. Shout out to that brother. I got a whole bunch of others that are trying to call in right now.